They are her disciples, so they are free to roam the temple. This is what we believe. Karni Mata
built this temple herself with her hands. She is the goddess who helps poor and needy people.
This temple is in honor of her good deeds. When her nephew drowned, she brought his body to the god of death and asked him to restore the boy's life.
She did this out of kindness. Instead, he brought the boy back as a rat. Now when all her followers die, they are reborn and they return to us as rats.
It is an ancient land, a place of legends and myths. And at the same time, a modern urban nation with more than its share of difficulties. It is India, a country bursting with nearly 1 billion people, and at least the same number of rats. They're among the most destructive animals on Earth. But the problems rats cause in India are complicated by a curious ambivalence toward the vermin. Despite the diseases and devastation rats cause, many Indians have a genuine affection for the creature. Here, the rat is admired and even revered for its cunning and adaptability. In this public square in Calcutta, known locally as Rat Park, visitors can buy food for the frisky scavengers. Some rodent lovers stop by daily, and over time these lesser bandicoot rats have abandoned their nocturnal habits in exchange for care from admirers.
I've been coming here every day for 20 years to see the rats. And I'm not alone. People from all over come here to feed them. We look after them very well. They're not capable of going out and getting food for themselves, so we feed them. They depend on us to give them food so they can feed their children as well. We feed them so lovingly so they can multiply. So the beauty of this park will multiply. Rats and people can live together in harmony. They're so beautiful to look at. They come to us when we call, so why can't they live with us?
But not everyone here finds rodents so compatible. Night brings out the aptly named greater bandicoots, and these animals aren't so cute. The damage they do is enough to force shopkeepers in Madras to bring in outside help.
When I go out in the night, dogs will bark. The town people will shout, "Hey, why are you roaming about at night? Are you catching cats?" I'll say, "No sir, I'm catching bandicoots."
The Kuvra Karens live on the outskirts of town. For centuries, their people were big game hunters in the wild. Now they hunt the big game of the city. Store owners hire them for their intimate knowledge of rat behavior and habitats. They're also pretty successful at hitting a moving target.
They are clever. Ordinary people can't catch them. Only the Kurivakarans can. Most people use poison and can kill only one or two, but we kill countless numbers. 50, 60, sometimes more. We know how to shoot professionally. For every shot, there should be a kill. This is the biggest kind of rat, the bandicoot. And this one is a really big one. It's a male, a bull bandicoot. It weighs about 4 pounds. They cause a lot of trouble. If they are caught, there's no more trouble. That's the right way.
But the trouble with rats didn't start in the city. India was once lush with forests. But when the human population exploded, so did the need for food. And as the forest became farmland, the rats found it easier and easier to survive. By some estimates, over 1/3 of all the food that's grown in India goes straight to the rats.
Here the rats have cut and destroyed my crop. They are a menace to all farmers. Right now I am the only one ready to harvest, so all the rats have come to my fields. I understand that they even come from 2 miles away. They can smell it from 2 miles away.
If rats seem unconquerable, it's because they are. Nobody knows just how many rodents there are. But in the week before the harvest, the population in the countryside booms. They are incredibly prolific. A litter can number as many as 12, and a female can have a litter every single month. In just 2 months, her babies will start reproducing. So it's possible for one couple to produce 15,000 descendants in less than a year. This mother has a dozen week-old infants. Safely tucked away in her burrow, she'll care for her young for the next 7 weeks. After that, they'll be ready to venture out on their own. Until then, she'll rely on food she has stockpiled in the next room. Although this adult will consume up to 10% of her body weight a day, she also hoards food in a storage chamber in her burrow, enough to feed her new family for a month. The grain also doubles as furnishings for the nesting chamber. The babies sleep most of their time away, rarely leaving their mother's side. As the crop above matures, this little homemaking scene will repeat itself millions of times beneath the farmer's fields. The rest of the rat burrow is a vast network of tunnels, and the maze is continually being extended. But it's out of necessity rather than an urge for home improvement. A rat's incisors and claws never stop growing. Gnawing and digging keeps them neatly filed down. But it's a habit that fosters destruction everywhere that rats go. And there are other uses for teeth and claws. This dominant or alpha male was surprised by a stranger, probably hoping to challenge the head of the household. Sometimes these territorial battles are fought to the death. But the intruder retreats unscathed. Lost in the maze, he stumbles into the nesting chamber. The mother, like most rats, has very poor vision. Even though the stranger is in plain view, she waits for her nose to confirm her hunch. Only then does she chase the foreigner off. She returns to find a pup wandering the hallway and promptly carries him back to the nest. But not everyone's here. Where are the rest of the little rats? Their eyes half shut, a few brave pups have gone exploring. It doesn't take long for Mother to round them up again, but it's just long enough for a few to get a taste of freedom. After all the excitement, everyone settles in for a long and well-needed nap. As the rats sleep, the race to collect the harvest has begun. Men and women of the nearby village will work to gather as much as they can while the sun is out. They know that at dusk, the rats will take the field.
Usually I can get 15-20 bags of grain per acre, but because of the rats, that number can be as low as 10. The rats can destroy up to 10 bags an acre. We can't do anything. We try all sorts of measures, but whatever we do, the rats remain the same. What can we do?
வாங்கப்பா அப்படி வந்துரும் அப்படி வந்துரும் அப்படி வந்துரும் திருப்பிக்கணா வா
Working in near-perfect shifts, the people and the rats will labor day and night while the grain is ripe, until all the rice is either harvested or destroyed. Each morning of the harvest, the farmer sends a load of grain into the city. Farmers from the entire country will bring food to these urban storage facilities or go-downs like this one in downtown Bombay. It's where the grain that will feed the entire region is stored and sold. This particular go-down, run by members of a religious sect called the Jains, is a hungry rodent's dream come true.
It's a terrible problem. The rats, they destroy a lot. There are no open sacks. We lose 3 to 5 pounds every day. But our religion forbids us from killing any living animal. Before closing up at night, we leave water in a dish for them to drink from.
It may seem that some Indians are letting rats get away with an awful lot. And to understand why, you have to see the rat in the way that much of India does. To many Hindus, the rat is not simply an annoying gray pest, but rather a travel companion of a beloved god named Ganesh. The remover of obstacles and provider of good luck, Ganesh chose the rat as his means of transportation throughout the Hindu worlds. Admirers from all over love the rodent, clever enough to find a permanent position with a god. But Ganesh is only one reason Indians revere the rat. At the Karni Mata temple in northern India, rats are not just attendants of the gods, they're worshippers. Here, it's believed that when the followers of the goddess Karni Mata die, they eventually find their way back to the temple as rats.
There are thousands of rats here, and they've been here for 500 years. They never leave the gates of this temple. They are protected by the goddess Karni Mata. We welcome the rats here because it is her wish, and we like them because they are our ancestors. They've been here for such a long time. They belong here, and we live with them 24 hours a day.
24 hours a day, India loves, hates, fears, and worships the rat. But despised or adored, the rat manages to stay well fed. And the rats in the countryside are no exception. Now that her offspring are less dependent, the mother rat is free to forage outside. Perfect timing, too, because the food supply in the burrow is running low, and this gives the adults a chance to restock the storage chamber with grain. Somehow, these keen freeloaders can sense that the harvest is ripe. Their eyes now opened, the month-old rats carouse throughout the rest of the burrow. For most of them, this is the first chance they've had to check out the adjoining rooms. These two pups are just roughhousing, but these scuffles are good practice for the real fights down the road. This little one has caught a whiff of something he's never smelled before and is determined to investigate. Gradually, they'll all make the same discovery and risk the perils of night. But there's food outside, free for the taking. Of course, the concept of dining goes both ways. But as the pups discover, not every night creature is a threat. Some, in fact, aren't bad at all. Night is also the time for another creature to hunt for dinner. A sand boa discreetly makes its way through the field, following the scent to the rat burrow. The pups that are still inside aren't sure what to make of such an unusual intruder. Fortunately, their little instincts kick in time for them to run, and they escape the predator through one of the nearby exits. But the reptile's been through this before, and for a successful ambush, all it has to do is dig in and wait. After a while, the snake's patience pays off. Still, there aren't enough natural predators to keep the rat populations in check, and desperate farmers take desperate measures. An electric fence can be extremely effective. Some well-placed poison will also do the trick. As cruel as his ways may seem, it's almost all the farmer can do. And still he's losing the battle. His methods will kill rats, but not enough. Rats learn fast. It'll only take a couple of accidents before the rest of the family knows better. Morning brings another form of pest control. A monitor lizard stalks the fields, surveying the carnage of last night. The scavenger has no trouble finding an easy meal. It devours a victim of the poison. This time, the lizard is lucky. Some of the pesticides used on rats can kill rat predators as well. There is one last method of extermination the farmer can use if all else fails. The arula are considered more effective than poisons or electricity. They're professional rat killers, and they've been working the farmlands for generations.
Rats are clever. Our minds have to function just like rats. Only if our minds work that way can we catch them. Otherwise, they'll throw sand in our faces.
The arula have a genuine gift for finding rats. They can tell if a burrow is occupied just by looking at it. And they have a knack for getting the rats right where they live.
If I blow smoke through this hole, the smoke will go inside and the rats will die. Then we will take them out with our hands. If we cannot reach them, we'll dig them out.
When it's time to scoop the bodies out, they somehow know exactly where to dig, even though the rodents could be lying anywhere in the immense burrow. They can also predict where the storage chamber is and easily remove all the grain the rats have been hoarding, valuable food they will make use of. But quite often for the Arula, rice is just a side dish.
In this burrow, there will be about 10 rats. If there's some paddy stored, then we can have rice. If we get the rats, then we've got a meal. We don't relish eating food without rats for even one day. They are all so tasty. You can never eat enough rats.
So rats provide more than just a livelihood to the Arula. They're also food. And in this family, if you want to eat, you have to work. The women cover the exits to catch any rats that might try a quick escape. When the men start pulling them out, some will make a run for it. The children chase the fugitives. They're happy to be entrusted with such an important job. When all the burrows have been either dug out or smoked, the spoils are divided into 2 piles. They'll keep the good ones for themselves. The rest are put to another use. An enterprising family can resell some of the rats they were paid to catch. Not far from the field lies India's largest crocodile farm. Its hungry occupants seem to know exactly what's in store for them. To the crocodiles, rats are a rare treat, an extraordinary delicacy served only on special occasions. At day's end, the Arula are also sitting down to dinner. To Western eyes, it may seem strange to see such a feast, but to these people, rats are an important source of protein. This family's hearty appetite may provide some relief in the country, but there aren't enough Arulas to solve India's entire rat problem. And besides, eating rats in the city could be hazardous to your health. India must go to great lengths to protect its people from the diseases that rats spread. In Bombay, 85 municipal workers set and collect hundreds of traps every morning. They work against impossible odds, barely making a dent in the population.
The rat population will not decrease. It will never happen because people leave food around and the rats will come again. Some will get caught and others will flourish. They will not diminish. They will always be with us.
The threat of contamination and destruction follows rats wherever they go. And they go everywhere. And no matter where they end up, they make themselves right at home. The rats that are caught will play a key role in the city's ongoing effort to combat the rodent's deadliest scourge, bubonic plague. "4,000 rats a day unknowingly donate their bodies to science. Dead or alive, they all end up at the same place. In Bombay, rats are a commodity, and a municipal rat catcher makes money by bringing his rats to the Haffkine Institute, where they'll be tested for contamination. The lab was founded for plague research in 1899, after a devastating epidemic killed more than 12 million Indians. Each day since, rats have been collected from every part of the city and checked for the dreaded disease. It's important to check some rats while they're still alive. Though rats carry the disease, they catch it from an even more insidious culprit, their fleas. It's tedious work checking the insects, but the Institute hopes to ensure that the plague never gains a foothold again. At the end of the day, the carcasses are incinerated to make room for the next delivery of rats from Bombay's inexhaustible supply. Of course, India isn't the only country with a rat problem. Rodents survive on every continent on Earth. But here, the creature has a special place, a contradictory, mystical role. What is despised by some is sacred to others. Whatever the rat means to this country, one thing is certain. The creature with a venerable past has a likely future, and India may never be completely free of the rat.